Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to the next day on Glamorous Katie. Today we are, in this video, going to attempt possibly to get everything left to do done. Possibly barring the painting on the roof, but we'll come to that later on. So to start with, the weather is sort of, considering it's now almost mid-November, the weather is actually still quite warm. So I am going to get the seats cleaned because that needs to be done. And if we got a little bit of sun, which we haven't at the moment, but a little bit of sun, a little bit of warmth, it will help to get them dry. I'm not taking them out to do it. I might take the base out, but apart from that, I'm leaving them all in. Sorry, the base of the rear, I might take that out. But let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get this car finished in this video. If not, it will be very close. Let's do it. Right, so where we left you on the last video, I haven't touched the car since. So if you remember, I done a lot of work on there, and the little bit that you could still see, I've put more paint in. I do think it still needs a little bit more paint, to be honest. But I'm going to do the old sand down, and what is that there? Is that still a scratch? That might be dirt, don't know. So yeah, so I think there is still a bit of a divot, so I am going to probably give that a little bit more paint, but I can still manage to get the rest of it finished off. I've just got to get some paint on that, go over a couple of little bits and pieces. I'm going to take the bumper off and just file this bit down a little bit so I can get the bumper on, because once that bumper's on, I want it to stay on. I'm also going to have a little bit of an extra go at this, because it's a little bit bumpy, so I'm going to try and tap down some of the high points there, see if I can improve that. Obviously I want to do that before I put the light in. What else have we got to do? Yes, as I mentioned on the intro, I need to clean the seats as well, so I'm going to do that today and try and get it cleaned inside completely if I can. I'll probably wait until the seats are dry before I clean the rest of the inside, but I obviously want to get the seats done. Can't tell how dirty they are. I haven't actually got the keys with me. The keys are upstairs. I need to go and get them. It's difficult to tell with that colour seat how dirty they actually are, but I'm going to get the keys, get the mix set up in the old Karcher machine, and then we'll get on with it. Let's do it. That's that done. Didn't seem too bad actually. It is difficult to tell, but there didn't seem to be masses of dirty water coming out of this one. Yes, I took the back seats out as you saw, or the back seat base I should say, out. So I'm just trying to change the focus on this. Yeah, I took the back seat out, did that outside. The headrests in these are also fabric, this sort of fabric, the grey on the side of the seat. So I've cleaned those. I've cleaned the really dirty carpet in the boot. That, along with the back, is sitting in the conservatory. Hopefully that will dry in there. We haven't got any sun, but it's going to be warmer in there than it is out here. So what I need to do now, I do desperately need to get some petrol in this. It is registering 0. And what I'm going to do is the white car has got a full tank of petrol. I'm going to siphon a load of petrol out of it and put it in this, and possibly in my X as well. Free petrol, isn't it? It is literally a full tank. And so I did it once before in a car that I broke, and I thought about how to do it. I had, with that one, was going to puncture the tank, but I didn't in the end. I tried doing it through the cap, but I couldn't do it. So the way I did it, the filler cap, where the filler cap goes down and it joins the tank, that's held on by like a Jubilee clip type thing. I'll show you it when I come to do it. But if you take that off, I expected the petrol to come gushing out, but it didn't. There's obviously a valve in there. And if you push a pipe, I used one of those ones with like the ball thing on it, you know, where you suck it up with a ball. Bulb, I think is the correct term, rather than bull. And you stick the pipe in, and again, petrol didn't leak out. It was really bizarre. I'm not quite sure how it works, but shoved the pipe in, started to pump the bulb, and the petrol started to siphon out, and I got it in a can, and I completely emptied it on that occasion. So that's what I'm going to do on the white one. It's a shame to waste that full tank of petrol when I can put some of it in here and use some of it in my own car. I don't normally do that, but the fact that it's got a completely full tank, then why not? The other car, the blue car, had a half a tank. Obviously, I didn't touch that. As I say, I don't normally do it. It's only because this one's completely empty and it is completely full. I thought I might as well nick some of it. It is free petrol at the end of the day. So I'm going to wind the windows down, keep the doors closed. Actually, while I'm working on the car, I might as well keep the doors open. But I'm going to move the car back over here, and then I'm going to have a go at this bumper. So as I said earlier, you've seen me do this. So probably what I will do is I'll do some of it on time lapse, probably, to try and, because I've already shown you doing it. And as I say, I think this bit here is going to need a little bit more work doing on it. But what I want to do is I want to sort of get it to the stage where I can get the headlight in and get the bumper on, get this DRL on, without having to do any more. That way, once the bumper's on, it can stay on. That's the plan. So I'm hoping to get that. I'm hoping to get this bit completely finished. Won't be today. It'll be in this video, but it'll probably be tomorrow. And then the only thing left to do, apart from the good clean up on the inside, brakes are fine on this. I checked the brakes when the cam belt was being done. They're absolutely fine. They look pretty new, so they're not going to need doing. It's good tyres all around. Apart from the clean inside, excuse me, I've got itchy nose. Apart from the clean inside, the only thing left to do that I can think of is these scratches. And of course we'll be doing that the same way we've done this. I did take on board what I think was only one person that said about using the little bits of sponge when you're rubbing down on those. And I've been searching, I've seen other people use them. In fact, I think the girl on the detailing girl, she was using them, I think. And I can't find any. I've looked on eBay and on Amazon, and I just can't find any. I can find the normal sort of foam sanding blocks, but not those sort of little square things. So I think for the time being, I'll make do with just the wet and dry. But what I'll do next time I order some paint from Paints for You, I'm sure they'll sell them. So I'll get some of those from them. I don't know if they're like a certain sort of density or not. I have got one of those foam blocks knocking around. I suppose I could cut one of those up, couldn't I? Really, if I could find it. But yeah, so that'll be for next time. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this has gone. So hopefully it's going to be pretty much invisible. I just want to try and get that bit better. It definitely needs a bit more paint in it. In fact, I'm tempted to just get some more paint in it before I even rub it down, because I want to try and get it level. If you can see, if it's focusing, yeah, you can see. There's just a little bit of a divot. So I need to fill that divot with paint, which I have done, but it just needs a bit more. And then we can polish it up. So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get the car moved and we'll have a little go at this. Right, I am going to try and knock some of these little high points back if I can. I can see them with using the torch. Right, so sort of see them. It's a bit difficult. It's not the ideal thing. You need one of those mirrors, one of those cards, really. I could go on forever doing this. I mean, we do still have a ridge there. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of that completely. It's still there. As much as I've hit it from the other side. Actually, you know what? Let's warm it up a bit first. That might be a better idea. Right, let's warm it up a bit. Both sides. Yeah, I think we put it on low heat. High heat's a bit too high. Right, let's try that. So we're still trying to push that out, which it is doing actually by. It is doing it. As someone mentioned, of course, when you're using the glue and you're pulling, you can see the whole panels. Because it's on the end of a panel, you don't get the same sort of tension. Oh, have I just marked the paintwork doing that? I have. Bugger. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. You can still feel it. It's bugging me. It's where you get it in a certain light, you can. Certain light you can see it more than others, but I think that's probably going to have to do. You can just about feel it. I suppose it's more about what you can see rather than what you can feel. Yeah, that's just a mark. It's not touched the paintwork. Obviously that would need a bit of a polish up, but what I might even do is treat it as a scratch and put some paint in it and then cut that back. That might help. I don't know. There was a wing that came up on eBay, £119. Unfortunately though, it was at Club 500 and they don't send big things like that in the post, and I can't go all the way up there to collect. So yeah, I mean, do I really want to change the wing for this? I've vastly improved it. I could be doing this forevermore, and I don't think I'm going to get it any better. Just warm it up again a little bit more. And so that is helping to push it out, definitely. As my finger's on it, I can actually feel it straightening up. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it, you know. As I say, there are some little high points there, which is, I think, where I used the tool, what do you call them? You know, the lever tools, whatever they're called. So I think they've put a bit of a indentation, which of course is why I'm doing this. Yeah, even that's improved it quite a bit. If I move the torch around and move my sort of head about, it is helping. It's not bad actually. It's not bad. I think it's as good as it's going to get. I'm probably being too fussy. I'm no panel beater, that's for sure. But it has helped. So once we get that polished up, I don't think it's going to notice too much. So that's it for that. I think we're just going to keep going. We'd be going forever trying to get that perfect. It's as good as I'm going to get it. Right, I've done it pretty much best I can. There is still a little bit more work that can be done afterwards, but I'm not going to keep going over the same bit over and over again for the time being. There's other things that I need to get done. So I'm going to try and get the headlight in. The headlight does need a polish. I was going to do it outside of the car, but I thought to myself, it's a bit difficult to hold it in position, isn't it? It's going to wobble all over the place. So I thought, although I've got to mask off when I do the polishing in the headlight, I thought I might as well get it in anyway. Now, before I do that, I'm just going to dry off. It hasn't rained for a few days, and of course that has been open to the elements, the headlight down here. And I know some water did get in there. I did tuck the plugs out of the way at one point, but I think some water did get on them. So before I plug them in, I just want to make sure they're okay. So I'm just going to dry them off with a heat gun. Then what I'm going to do is I'll get the bonnet off, get the bumper off first. So let's just get that off. And we need to file down those bits of the bumper so the bumper can be pushed on. Once I've got that DRL on, the bumper can be pushed on, and then hopefully it'll stay on. Right, let's get that off. I bought a new battery as well for it, which is on the floor down here. Because obviously that's an incorrect battery. So let's just take those off for a minute. So I really want to just get this bumper on, and then, as I say, staying on with those repairs. I don't want it to be coming off, on and off, because I don't want those repairs to get damaged. Right, I'm just going to take this off. I'll put it out in the garden, and we'll get the DRL on. So I've had to glue one side of this piece of I don't know if it's getting it in shot, but this is glued as well as tabbed, because two of the tabs on the right hand side were broken. So I'm hoping it's going to stay there, because obviously it's not really up the right way. It should be upside down really. So here's the DRL, which I haven't actually tested. I suppose I should do really. I'll test it before I actually do the bumper up. Now, which bracket is it that's broken? So that goes in that way. So I'm hoping, yeah, it is. It's the one. It's that one. That's good. That was the one I was hoping it was going to be. So all I need to do is drill through there, and we'll put cable tie through. So I'll drill that hole through there now. I have held on entire DRLs with cable ties in the past when you've got a perfectly good DRL, which is the best way to do it, up or down, top bit, so that'll be there. Yeah, when you've got perfectly good DRLs and it's just the tabs that are broken, it seems a shame to waste them sometimes. It's quite hard plastic, this. Let's put it down and do it. Very hard plastic, in fact. There you go, enough to get a... And then we want to drill through there. And that should be enough to get a, assuming they're relatively lined up, should be enough to get one through. So we'll put screws in the other side. In the other two. So it was much cheaper buying this. The other one I was looking at was all three tabs were okay, but the glass itself was scratched up, so I thought it was better to get one with a broken tab that you can't see with good glass than one with broken glass and good tabs. It just made more sense as far as I could tell. Ideally, this should be this should be upside down doing this. Yeah, it's lined up properly now. It wasn't. All it was it's because of the weight of the light. So they are quite heavy, these lights. Now I've done it properly, laid it down. They're going in fine and in the right position. Right, that's those two done up, and then I just need to get a cable tie and put that on. Right, just moved the camera around so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So we have got to try and thread this through. I said thread instead of threadle. My wife will be delighted. It's not going to go through there. I think I need to make a slight adjustment with a hole. There we go. Now, once you get it through, you then got to try and hook it up. I don't know if the holes are just not quite big enough. Right, camera battery ran out again. Right, I think I'm going to try a smaller one. See if that'll go through better, that's better. And then we need to hook that up with something. It does, I've done this loads of times, it does hold it securely. As I say, I've done it with all 3 lugs before. It works fine. Just need to hook. Probably a screwdriver would have been better, but there you go, that's what I had to hand. Right, thread that in. Thread, I said it again, instead of threadle. Right, do that up tight. There you go, solid, absolutely solid as a rock. And then we'll just cut that off. Done, how about that? Lovely jubbly. Right, that's it, that's that done. So I need to put this back up now, and then we need to get the grinder and we need to grind off some of these bits so it can hopefully all fit back in to the brackets properly. Hopefully that's not come out. No, it's still in position, that's good. I might put a little bit more glue around that actually. Right, let's get me my little cutting disc thing, and we will file that down a little bit. Right, I'm not going to take much off. I just want to try and get it as even as I can. So this side's not as bad, although it was this piece. I had to, if you remember, I glued that bit back on. So I'm just going to have to go up to the edge as much as I can and get as close as I can without damaging this edge. And obviously still keeping it nice and solid. As I say, that's the bit that there is plenty of plastic on the other side. It feels really strong. So it shouldn't do. Oh, I've got to do that bit as well. So it's just a matter of it being able to slip into the bumper brackets. The facelift bumper brackets are a little bit more forgiving because they are better designed. They are bigger and thicker. So, and I think they will allow for a little bit of manoeuvring, whereas the old ones, on the pre-facelift ones, are much flimsier and smaller, thinner. Right, let's just do this. Right, I think that should be enough. That should be okay. So as I say, I just need to get that off. I think that's a bit of just a bit of overspray with the bit of overglue. I'm just going to clean this off and whack a bit of paint over it, just to tidy it up a little bit. That's all. But I think that's going to be all right. Let's get some paint. We'll give it. Right, there you go. That should be all okay now. So it's just a layer of paint over it, just to try and just make the repair look a bit nicer, even though you won't be able to see it. So I'm just hoping it all fits in. It's all sanded down nice, or sanded, it's all roughed. The rough bits are all a bit smoother with a little bit of paint over it, just to help it along the way. So I'm just going to give that a few minutes just to dry off, because I did it quite thick. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes. I'm not doing 2 coats, it's just the 1 coat, just to, as I say, just to jazz it up a little bit. It's not like it's going to go rusty, it's made of plastic, but I just wanted to sort of, you know where I'm coming from. Anyway, that's that. So because that's just been done, I'm not going to fit that bumper in properly today. I'll leave that till tomorrow. But what I will do, we're starting to lose the light now, unfortunately, but what I will do is going to put the headlight in. So you can see that dent there, and I will say to people when they come to see it, I say, look, it's got a little bit of a dent there. And there's been dents in cars before where I've pointed them out, and people, oh, that's all right. People expect it. It's not a brand new car. Now, this car will be more expensive than what I normally sell. You know, this is going to be north of 4.5 grand. Somewhere around maybe 750. So people are paying a little bit more for it, so they would probably expect it to be better. If they say, oh no, we'll give you 4.5 for that because we want to get that done, I'll take the 4.5. But I don't normally take offers. But yeah, I think if I was spending 4.5 grand, I would expect that to be a bit better, but that's just me. I don't know, what do you think about it? Do you think I should, I mean, I've done that best I can. It doesn't look that bad. You know, there is no other marks on this car whatsoever. It's a second-hand car. It's 2016, so it's 6 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, and there's not another mark on it anywhere. So for that to be the only mark that's on it, I think that's pretty acceptable, don't you? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Right, so we don't actually know whether this works. As you see, I stuck that piece back on as well. That needs touching up, but I can do that afterwards. So we're hoping, actually, let's get me a little stool. Too much stuff in the way. And let's see, hopefully, this is going to fit in with no problem. Move that out of the way. He says. Right, let me put these bolts down. Now, bearing in mind I did bend this back, so that may actually need to, let me get my hammer, I may need to bend that down just a little bit, because it was bent down too far, and I straightened it up, so I may need to just bend it down slightly, because I've repaired that thing, and I don't want that tab, I don't want too much tension being on it and it ends up breaking off. Because that would be just rubbish. Right, I think what happened is is that in? The washer bottle. I think, is that getting in? Oh, bollocks. It's broken off. I'll have to stick it on afterwards. What's going on here? Is that in properly? Yeah, that's in, I think. Yeah. There may need to be a little bit of jiggery pokery. There may need to be. Not sure. Let's get the bolts in. The holes all are lined up. Okay. There's a bit of a gap there, but don't forget I've been whacking that, so that may have moved. So I need to have a little play around with that possibly. Let me just tighten that one up. Just a smidge, we'll get that one in. That one is possibly a little bit out of alignment. Let's get that one in. I think we'll probably have to loosen that one off and push that in a bit. That one's fine. I think this will be alright. It's just a little tiny little bit out of alignment, but I think the wing is going to need just a little bit of manipulation in getting it, just to get the gap right. But that's fine, I can do that. That's not a problem. But it's good to get the headlight in. That's it. Well, that just needs tightening up. That screw doesn't want to go in. Am I using the right screw here? Actually, I think I've just been using the wrong bolt. I don't know what that bolt's for, but it ain't the right one. It's not long enough. That's why it wasn't tightening up properly. Right, let's try that again. So we'll get a 10mm spanner on that nut up here. Undo that and manipulate that a little bit. As you can, I don't know if you can see the scratches. I think I've already shown you the scratches on the headlight anyway. Right, that's up tight now. Yeah, it's just a little bit tight around here, so I need to release that and try and move the wing out a little bit up here, and then release that, and they'll probably go ping, because there's obviously been a little bit of tension on it anyway, and I think it will probably just ping off. But what I want to do is test the headlight, make sure the bulbs are working properly. So if I can get this, I'm working in the dark here a little bit. Just trying to get the thing on. Bear with. I need my torch. Where's my torch? Can't see anything. What I did with the other one? Oh, there it is. Right, let's see what I'm doing. Am I putting that in the right place? That's it. See if you can see what you're doing, it goes on first time. Right, so I'm just going to do a little fiddle with this. So that bit that I snapped off that I glued on, I'm going to have to re-glue that on. I don't think it would fail the MOT for that. I don't think it would. I mean, it is a support of some description. But yeah, I wasn't going to buy a new headlight just for that, no way. It took a bit of manipulating to get this in the right place, but I've done it now. It's all okay, I think. I'm just going to shut the bonnet and make sure that my gaps are okay with the bonnet, because obviously I've moved it around a little bit, so I just want to make sure they're okay. And then we'll offer the bumper up. As I say, I'm not going to actually fix the bumper until tomorrow, but we know the headlight's working. That's got to come out a little bit. That is still that's a bit too far in. Yeah, that's a little bit too far in, that wing. It's got to come out a touch. I did move it in a little bit in the middle as well, so which I shouldn't have done really, I suppose, because that's in the right place. But the gap's okay now. Yeah, that's fine. I also want to see. Oops! I also want to make sure that those DRLs work. Let me just open the bonnet again. I'm hoping we get some sun tomorrow and these seats will dry off. We'll worry about the gaps and that tomorrow once we get the bumper on, because there's always the chance we get those dodgy gaps in the brackets as well. That's assuming that the brackets fit. But that looks better now. I'm really tempted to just push that in now, you know. That paint's going to be dry. Shall I? Blow it, let's do it. Let's do this side first. Hopefully it's not too dark. Actually, it looks quite bright through the camera. I'm just going to put one of the bolts in loosely. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what I've got to do before I do that is plug the DRLs in, make sure they work. So let's just do that. Again, I can't see. Make sure we're getting the right way around. One. Really need to put stuff away when I've finished using it. two. Right, they're both fine. Let's just hang it off one screw, and then we'll make sure they work. Right, let's give it a whirl. So if we put the keys in, turn the ignition on, wrong keys. Oh, turn the indicator off. So hopefully we've got some DRLs alight. Yes, both DRLs are alight. Let's just turn this radio down. Turn the lights on, hopefully they go dim. Oh, they don't go dim in these, do they? I think they stay on, don't they? It's the old shape that they go dim. And full beam. Yes, full beam. Yeah, I don't think they do go dim, do they? They stay the same. They stay the same when you turn your lights on, I think. Am I right in saying that? Or am I wrong? Actually, I don't know now. Headlights come on, which are blimmin' dim, aren't they, compared to the DRLs? The DRLs stay... Oh, I see. So the dim one on the DRL actually goes out on these, on the facelift. Yeah, it's gone out. So the angel eye bit stays. I mean, look at the difference in those lights. The headlights in Fiat 500s are so rubbish. If this was my own car, I would be changing those headlight bulbs to LEDs, because the angel eyes are LEDs. They're just ridiculous. I don't understand why they do that. That's really bad. And then we've already tried the full beam, so we know the full beam works. That's good. Right, now we can try plugging it in then. Let's just turn the lights off and we'll try plugging the sides of the bumper in. Right. Hopefully this is going to fit in okay. Yep, look at that, perfect. Got a bit of glue on or something on there. So that side fits in absolutely perfect. Just needs to be screwed in. Let's check the other side. Right, that's not worked very well. I've broken a little bit of that bumper off. I was a bit worried about that bit. And I think I've got to adjust this wing a bit more. I think this wing has got to come out at the bottom because it's sticking out too far. I'm going to have to try and plastic weld this back on again, but yeah, it's just not sticking in there properly. It's like the wing is too far. The wing's too far in. I can push it. If I push it, it stays sort of, but it is still too far in. So I think I'm going to have to bring the bottom of the wing out. It is quite close to that light, to be fair. So yeah, because I did push that wing in at the bottom. Did I push it in or bring it out? No, I brought it out. No, I pushed the top in and I tried to bring the bottom out, but I think the bottom's got to come out more. So I think the whole thing's going to have to come one way. Come out a little bit. Otherwise it's not going to fit in. I'll get there, don't worry, I'll get there. That's a nuisance because that other side went in perfect. Now I'm not going to remove the other side. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to manipulate it this side. I can sort of just take it off here. I can take it off just here and then mess around with the bolts, possibly take the headlight out to adjust this again. Nuisance, really is a nuisance, but it is too tight on there. You can see it's too tight on it. I don't know why I didn't notice that. Yeah, oh well, never mind, we'll do that tomorrow anyway, because as you can see it's actually dark now, so all the garden lights are on and the lights on the garage are on, as you can see. So yeah, it's a shame because the other side went on absolute perfect. Slipped in really nicely. Obviously we've got to do the bolt around that side, but we are getting there though. We are definitely getting there. And I'll sort that out tomorrow. When we've got a bit of daylight, I will get it right. It's just unfortunate. But there you go. I mean, it had to whack that side, didn't it? So what did we expect really? Was it ever going to fit perfectly? Probably not. You don't know until you get it on, that's the problem. You don't really know. As you can see, it's sticking right out. Although of course that tab's broken, so that was me trying to force it, unfortunately. I thought it might have just been catching, but you know, I managed to break it one side. That's the trouble when you break these things. It's all very well plastic welding them, but if anything's out and doesn't slot in perfect, you're going to end up breaking it again, which is exactly what I've done. But never mind, we'll get to it tomorrow. We'll sort it tomorrow. But we're getting there. We are getting there. So I'll see you in the daylight tomorrow. Right, the next day, I've just been cleaning out inside the boot. I'm going to replace this. This is one that I had in the garage, and it's a black one. It's the wrong colour. I'm not going to buy one. I'm just going to take one out of one of the other cars and just swap it over for a grey one, and then that can go in the other car. Obviously, being a newer car, this one needs to be nicer. Yeah, so that's all nice and clean, all nice and dry now. What else? Yeah, I've got to clean it all up inside there. I'm going to hoover it now. I'm assuming the seats are probably going to be still wet because it was only yesterday. We've got another fairly warm day again today. Yeah, still damp. Yeah, they're not too bad actually, but I reckon by the end of the weekend they'll be dry, I reckon. So I'm just going to get it all hoovered in here. I'm not going to bother cleaning the plastics or anything like that yet, but I'm going to give it all a good hoover. These are all nice and still wet, but clean now. They were quite dirty, especially the driver's one. And then going back to what we were looking at yesterday on the, I need to get that off. I just need to get some polish or something on there and get that off. So I think this is probably going to take a little bit of time to do this, because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to jack it up, get the wheel off, get the arch liner off, and I'm probably going to have to manipulate the bracket underneath, move it out possibly, to get it done properly. I'm hoping that I don't have to bond this. I don't want to bond it if I can help it, but I might have to. You know, the only other thing I could do is get another bumper, and I ain't buying another bumper just because of that. That's just silly. Not ideal, but you know, if that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do. Hopefully I can get it in there without doing that. I can get that bit plastic welded back on and it'll be enough to hold it. Only time will tell. So that is that. So due to the length of this video, I'm going to end the video shortly. I just want to quickly go through something and ask your anyone that might know the answer to this question. This comes from one of the subscribers who's been messaging me on Instagram, trying to get to the bottom of his problem. So I'm going to tell you about that now. See if any of you have got any ideas. It's a weird one. Right. So I've got this in front of me. So I'm going to go through it with you and see if any of you have got any ideas. So this is one of the subscribers to the channel who's in Australia. It's not anyone that's on I'm a Celebrity. So it's from Brisbane. Now the problem he's got a 500 pop. Now obviously as an Australian car it's going to be the US spec, so it's going to be a 1.4. It's a pop with Blue and Me. Now the problem he had, let me just scroll through, where are we? Yeah, so his Blue and Me died, as they do, as we know, and the mileage was flashing. He bought himself an AliExpress 7-inch stereo from AliExpress. And before he did that, he disconnected the Blue and Me. He did a proxy alignment and the mileage stopped flashing. Obviously the Blue and Me part of the stereo wouldn't work because he's disconnected it, but it stopped the mileage flashing. He's put in the 7-inch screen and done a proxy alignment and it won't proxy align. And so therefore of course the mileage is still flashing. I said to him, what did I say to him? I said to him, yeah, did you disconnect the Blue and Me? He said, yes, he did. And then I asked, so as it's failing, is it failing on a particular module? Because the Blue and Me is disconnected, then presumably it wasn't failing on that because it's not there as far as the car's concerned. And he said, yes, it's failing on the airbag module. Now, bearing in mind they're not connected in any way, shape or form, he says if he puts the stereo, the old stereo, the original stereo back in and proxy aligns, it works. If he puts his 7-inch AliExpress jobby back in, it fails. So I'm completely flummoxed. I mean, I know the Australian stroke US cars are different, but obviously, you know, same applies. The airbag ECU has got absolutely nothing to do with the Blue and Me. Yes, of course, as all the ECUs, they're connected to the body computer, but I'm at a loss as to what it could possibly be. I've never ever known that before. Normally, you know, you disconnect your Blue and Me, you do a proxy alignment, it works fine. Unless it's an error with there's something wrong with the AliExpress stereo, I can't think of any reason why it's doing it. So I'm hoping some of you might be able to. So I know he's watching, and I'm hoping that someone out there might be able to help and give us an idea of what you think could be the problem. So let's just go through it quickly one more time. So Blue and Me didn't work. Removed the Blue and Me, unplugged the Blue and Me. Well, he says removed. I'm assuming he means unplugged it, or he might have physically completely removed it as well. Done a proxy alignment, it worked. Mileage stopped flashing. Took out that stereo, put in an AliExpress 7-inch stereo, did a proxy alignment, doesn't work. Fails on the airbag ECU. Puts the original stereo back in, works fine. Any ideas, anyone? Answers on a postcard, or rather in the comments down there. Hopefully one of you might have an idea that you could try. So yeah, as I was saying, based on what I've got to do to this to try and get that bumper to fit, it's going to take too long. This video is already about 45 minutes long, so I don't want to make it any longer. So we'll do that on another video. In the same video, we will do the roof as well and get that done. I'm going to clean it up now anyway. I'm not going to bother filming it. I'm going to hoover it all out and what have you. I've done inside the boot, but I'm just going to do inside the car. I won't bother filming that, but we should have at least one more video, and then the car should be done. Then I'm going to put the hubcaps on as well. I've got some badges to stick on them, so I'm going to put those on now as well. And then pretty much as soon as that bumper's then done, it'll be ready to go, plus the roof. So that'll be in the next video. So as always, if you're not a subscriber, please hit that button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you on the next video on this one, but coming up next week, we'll be going back on to project, I've forgotten the name, the White Pop. We'll be back on that one. Anyway, until then, thanks for watching. As always, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.